welcome to our channel. In part 1 of this Docker series, I have explained the essential commands required for Docker image management. In part 2 of the Docker series, I am going to explain the essential commands required for Docker container management. Docker container management involves a lot of commands, so I'm going to break the part 2 video into 3 parts again. Let's see part 1 of Docker container management. The first command is docker run. Okay, the first command is docker container run. Okay, this is the command which we use. Okay, this command is used to create, start, and execute a new container from an image in a single step. It is equivalent to docker run. This is an alias command for docker container run. Means you can either use docker container run or docker run. Both give same result. Okay. Now let's see the syntax of docker container run. The syntax is docker container run, then specify image name. Okay. After run, specify the image name for which you want to create container. Okay. This is the syntax of, even we have option to provide different options. This is a kind of optional mandatory, but this is the basic syntax of docker container run. Now let's see some examples how to create docker container from docker image. Okay, first example is, let's start or run a container and print a. Let me show you how to do that. Docker run, or you can use docker container run. Okay, anything is fine. I'm using docker container run only. Container run, and then we specify the image. I'm specifying here Ubuntu image. Then provide command you want to execute as soon as you start, as soon as the docker starts the container. Okay, here I'm giving hello docker. Okay, the command which is going to be executed after creating our container. Let's press enter. Now what dockers do is, see, it immediately started your container and ran the command and then exit. If the image is not in your local system, if the image is not in your local system, that is Ubuntu, it will pull the image from Docker Hub and then it creates and starts new container. After creating container, it will execute the command echo docker hello docker. After that, it stops and removes the container after execution. Okay, this is the sequence of steps happen when we run this command. Since I already have a Ubuntu image in my local, it just started the container, then ran or executed the command echo hello docker. Okay, this is the first example. Let's say you want to run a container in interactive mode. Then what is the command? Let's see. Docker container run, and then specify hyphen it, then image name, that is Ubuntu. Okay, Ubuntu. After that, specify the bash, then press enter. This will open an interactive. This will start the container in interactive mode. Let's press. Okay, it is only single hyphen, not here. Okay, let's press now. Now if you see here, Docker started our container in interactive mode. Now we are in inside container. Let's see what are the, here we can execute any command inside our container. If you see, these are the files or folders available inside our container. This is about starting or running a container in interactive mode. Okay. Here the -I option keeps standard input, that is std, in open for interaction. Then -T allocates sudo terminal. Okay. With this, it opens an interactive bash shell inside the Ubuntu container. This is about starting or running a container in interactive mode. Now let's see another example where, let's say, if you want to run the container in the background, then the command is docker run docker container run, and then specify the option -D to run your container in the background. After that, image name, that is, let's say, nginx. Press enter. This will create and start our container in background mode. Okay, in the background. You see here, our container is running in the background. This is about running container in background or in detached mode. Both are same. Okay. Here the -D is the option which runs the container in the background. Okay. So with this, our nginx server will keep running. Okay. Next, the other another example is, let's say, if you want to run your container with port mapping, then the command is docker container run -D, then specify -P. -D is to run your container in the background. -P is the option to specify port mapping. Here, let's say 8080 and then 80:80. After that, specify the image name, that is nginx. Here, what exactly is happening is the -P 80:80:80 maps port 8080 on the host to 80 in the container. Okay. Now press enter. Once the container starts, now we can access the nginx server in a browser at http localhost 8080. Let me show you how to access that. Control Shift P. Here select simple browser. Here http localhost, then specify 8080, press enter. See here, now we are able to access nginx server on 8080 port in the localhost. Okay, this is about port mapping, where the -P option maps port 8080 on the host to 80 in the container. This is about running a container with port mapping. Now let's see the next example. Let's say if you want to run container with environment variable. Let me show you how to do that using docker container run. The -E is the option to specify environment variables. Okay, okay, okay. Go to test. Then the image name. Next, now check. So now our container. Now let's verify whether the environment variable env mod is is uh, updated inside our container or not, because Whenever you use -e option, this sets an environment variable, whatever you pass inside the container. Okay, whatever you pass inside the container. Let's connect the x1 the container. You can specify the first four letters of ID. No need to specify entire ID of the Docker container. Then hash press enter. Now we are inside container. Here to see whether the environment variable is set inside the container or not, the command is simply try to print echo dollar. The environment variable what we set using the command is env mode. Okay, env underscore mode. Press enter. You see here the environment variable is set inside the container. Okay, this is about running container with environment variables. Here next example for Docker container run is, let's say if you want to run container with a custom name. What is the command for that? Command for that is Docker run hyphen name is the option to provide custom name for your container. Now my Nginx the container name which I want to set after that by the email, and then press. Now see here container name is set to my Nginx. Okay, this is the command which we use to set custom name for your container. Now the next example is, let's say you want to automatically remove the container after execution. What is the command for that? The command for that is docker container run, then specify the option item. This is the option which will automatically remove the container after it exits. Okay, after it exits, then specify the image name Ubuntu. I'm giving here to that execute any command to the container start. So container the center. Now if you observe this, see ran, then it automatically moves from the container list. See here, you don't have that container. Okay, it automatically removes after exits. Command automatically removes the container after exits. Okay, this is about Docker. This is about automatically removing the container after execution. Okay, this is all about first command is Docker container run. Now let's see the next command, that is Docker attach. Okay, this Docker container attach. Next command is Docker container attach. This command allows you this command allows you this command allows you to attach your terminal to a running container's main process. This means you can interact with the container as if it were running directly in your terminal. Let's see the syntax. Syntax is Docker container attach, then specify container name or ID. Okay, this is syntax, container name or ID. Now let's see an example. Here. We already have a few containers running. Now let me try to attach to any one of the containers. For that, what I can do is I can use the command docker container attach and then the container name or ID. I'm using this container. Let's say my Nginx. I want to attach or I want to interact with my Nginx container. then press enter. Okay, if you see here, this will attach. This will attach to your container my engineering. You are seeing this as a blank. Why? Because we haven't run this in either interactive mode or detached mode. So okay, now if you want to see exactly the purpose of this command is, you should run either in detached mode or in interactive mode so that it will show you the output on your terminal. Let me show you that. Let's say Control C. See, we got all the, I can say, logs of a container. Now let's say if I run the container C, okay, then specify the next container. See, we are now getting some output on the terminal, right? Now let's connect to the another terminal, then try to attach to this. Okay, so container attach. The idea of this is phi to AC. Okay, phi to AC. Okay, now whatever there inside the container is showing on your terminal. This is about attaching a container, running container. Okay, if you want to quit from this, you can either you can use Control P, Control Q. Those are the default Docker shortcuts to exit from this. And then you can even use Control C, but this actually terminates even the container as well sometimes. Okay, Control C also works to detach from the container. Okay, if you see, even stopped container. Okay, this is about Docker container attach command. Next is Docker container commit. Okay, Docker container commit. This command is used to create a new image in a running or stopped container. This allows you to save changes made inside a container as a new image. Okay, as a new image. Let me show you the syntax first and then we'll go with the examples. The syntax for this is Docker container commit, then specify the container name or ID that specify the image is my custom image, then tag. You want to create the image which you want to create, name for that. Okay, my custom image, then tag, let's say v1, like this. Okay, this is about the syntax. Now let's see an example. Let's see an example. Okay, let's say you want to create, let's say you want to create a image, want to create an image from the running container. Let's say here we have a 3 running containers. Let's say I want to create a image from this running container. There is say we name for it. Okay, we can use this 8cb2 container. Okay, now I would like to create new image from this container. That what I is it, then specify. See here you can even while doing commit, you can specify message, commit message, author name, then anything which you want. I mean, except few things. You can even specify the tags. Okay, now let me specify the commit message. Okay, commit message here, app author code craft, that specify the container name. Let's say container name or ID 8cb2 the ID. Okay, after that image name. Let's say image name is commit image. Commit image is the image name. Version is v1. Now press enter. This will create a new image, that is commit image from container ID 8CB2. Okay. Now if you see here, we got a new image here. Okay. This is about Docker container commit command. Okay. After that, once you get image, you can run container from this image as well using the same command, that is Docker container run. Okay. This is about Docker container commit. Next command is Docker container copy. Okay, Docker container copy. This command allows you to copy files or directories between a running container and your local machine. Okay, the syntax is Docker container cp and then source that specifically the syntax for Docker container copy, that is cp. Okay, now let's see an example. We even have an alias for this Docker container cp, that is Docker cp. Okay, we can use either that or this. Now let's see an example. Before that, what we can do is, uh, let's say if you want to copy, let's say this is the container running. Okay, let's say we want to copy files from your host to container and then container to host. Let's try that, how we can do that using Docker container cp. Okay, now Docker container cp, and then I want to copy from this container. Okay, okay, then there app, okay, from like to copy the file. I have a file there, right? Test dot the to the host machine. This to current directory. Let's press the, okay, could not find the, okay, don't think they, before that, uh, local, but current, okay, I will create file touch test e, it home. Okay, update about how, yeah, now inside data touch, then let me create one more test folder. Here we have one file and then one folder. Update data. Now, Then now want to copy from container to our host directory. For that, what I can do is my container is then yeah, up the test dot to current directory. Let's press enter. Now if you see, it successfully copied file testcp from the container into our current directory. If you see here, now you can check that. The similar way, let's say if you want to copy the folder, you can simply do the same thing. Press enter. Now see here, testcp and then test. Now let's say we want to copy from host to container. Simply the thing is we simply reverse the source and destination. From here, this will become destination, and then the current directory will become the source. Let's say if I want to copy one file, that is my data. Let's say folder is my data. Inside my data, let me create one file. This first, we have anything, right? It file but then now let me copy, okay, let me this file here to container. Okay, for that what I do is that from directory then test and specify the container path. This container name that app. Let me move to inside app only. Okay, it successfully copied into the app directory. Now let me copy the entire folder inside our app directory. Inside app, copy from host directory to container directory. Let's check whether uh, the now let's see the lesson. See here, my data folder copied from host directory as well as the test file as well. Okay, this is about Docker container cp command. Okay, this is about Docker container cp command. Now the next command is Docker container create. Okay, next command is Docker container create. This command is used to create a new container without starting it. This allows you to define containers configuration before running it. Okay, this is the use of this command. The use of this command. Now let's see the syntax. Syntax is Docker container create and then we should try the image. Okay, image name. Okay, this is about the syntax. Now let's see example. Okay, let's say want to create a container without starting it. For that, what I'm doing is for container create. Then let's set this my container. Then specify the image. Press enter. This will just create a container. Don't start the container. Okay, if you see here, my container it just created. but not started. Okay, this is about creating a container without starting it. Now, in the similar way, as I said, while using Docker container run, you have many options. That is, either you can uh, create a container with port map. For that, the command is Docker container. Okay, create p 8080. Name is the web container. Specify the image is nginx. This will Docker container create spelling. This will create a container with image and Nginx, but it won't start anything. Okay, if you see here, web container. Okay, this is about creating a container with port mapping. The similar way, you can create a container with a volume and environment variables. Okay, volume and environment variables. Let me show you that to create container with volume, mount, and uh, the thing environment variables. Okay, container create. Okay, -v. Okay, my data the directory mount to the app data directory inside container. Then environment variables is specifying if an E option. Let's say okay, env equal to test the environment variable we are setting for that by the container name. Okay, container name is app container. After that image, this will create a container, a volume mount as well as environment variables. This is about creating a container with volume mount and then environment variable without starting the container. Okay. This is about there is Docker container create. Now let's see the next command. If you observe here, what is the difference between Docker container, Docker create as well as Docker run? Docker create creates a container but does not start it. Docker run creates and starts a container in one step. That is the difference between Docker run versus Docker create. Now let's see another command, that is Docker container diff. Okay, Docker container diff. This command shows the changes made to the file system of a container compared to its original image. Okay, compared to its original image. This is useful for tracking modifications inside a running or stopped container. The syntax for this command is Docker container diff, then specify the container name or ID. Okay, or ID. This is the syntax. Now let's see an example. See an example for this. Let's say if we observe this container which we used previously for our Docker container copy command, where we added a few files into our container. So now let's see the changes by using Docker container diff. Okay. For that, what we can do is we can specify the ID here. Let's specify ID here 8cb2 b2 and then press enter. You see here, it shows actually this command list changes with the following prefixes. One is A, that is added. A is for added files. Okay. Then C is for changed. See here, C is for changed. If at all any files are there which are deleted, then it will show D. Okay. A is for added, C is for changed, and then D is for deleted. You see, inside our container, these are the files which got changed. Okay, these are the files which got added. Okay, see here we added test C, my data and everything inside our container. This is about Docker container diff command. This is very useful for debugging to check what files have changed inside a container, and then to track modifications, to identify changes before committing a container to an image. Okay, and then even for cleanup. Let's say you want to clean up container before committing, you can find unnecessary changes that might need reverting using this command. Okay, this is all about Docker container diff. The next command is Docker container exec. Okay, this command is used to run a new command inside an already running container. This is useful for debugging, running administrative tasks, or interacting with processes inside the container. Okay, this is about Docker container exec command. Let's see the syntax. The syntax for this is Docker container exec, then specify container. Here you can even specify options as well. Options. Okay, then container name or ID of that command. Okay, after that command which runs inside the container. Okay, now let's see an example. We can even use Docker exe as well. That's an alias for Docker container exec. Okay, anything is fine. Now Docker exec. Let's say I want to run a command inside Nginx. This is 8cb2 container. For that, what I can do is container exec and then specify the either ID or name. HCB. After that, I would like to simply list files inside app directory. Okay, let's files inside directory in long format. Let's press enter. See here, we got all the data inside our app directory. So what exactly we did here is simply connected or ran a command -l inside the container. Okay, inside the container HCB2 is about running a command inside container. Let's say if you want to start an interactive shell session, that is also we can do using Docker exe command. Okay, let's say if you want to create an interactive shell, okay, start an interactive shell, Docker exec, okay, so exec, then specify the ID of container, then hash. Okay, now if you see here, this command opens this command, a bash shell inside my container, inside container, that is this one, this container. Inside this container, it opened bash shell. Okay, now let's see if you want to run a command as a different user. Okay, if you want to run a command as a different user, how I mean we can do that using Docker exe. Let's see Docker exec-u root. So to run a container, to run the command inside container, then different user, then you can use this command. This by specifying -u, you can specify the user. After that, -it, and then container is HCP2. Now bash. Press enter. Then exe. Now we are inside container. Let's see who is the user. I mean, which user logged into the or connected to the container. See here, root. Okay, we connected to the container or we opened an interactive shell with a different user. This is about run a command as a different user. Now let's say if you want to run command, run background process inside a container. Okay, run background process inside a container. The command for that is docker exe, okay, docker container ID 82, that by the run command, okay, or process you run the background. This I am going to create a file inside the temp directory file. What then press it will run. So now it ran the command of background process inside a container. Let's check whether file got created or not. See here, our command or background inside container. Put this inside a container. Now let's see another example for docker exec command. Let's say if you want to check running processes inside a container. For that, you can use docker exec, then specify the ID. After that, yes, okay, you run this command, it will show all the background process running inside our container. This is all about docker container exec command. Now, if you observe, what's the difference between docker attach and docker exec? Docker exec starts a new process inside an existing container, whereas docker attach attaches to the main process of running container. Okay, that is the difference between docker exec versus docker attach. Now let's see another command, that is docker export. Okay, let's say if you want to export, let's say if you want to export container, you want to export container, the command is like export is nothing but to take a backup of your image container. Docker container export, docker container export command used to create a tar archive of containers file system. This is useful for backing up containers or transferring them without relying on the image. Okay, now let's see the syntax. The syntax for this command is docker container export, then specify the container name or ID. Okay, container name or ID. This is the syntax. Now let's see example. Let's say if you want to back up this container file system, use container ID 8cb2, that is docker container export 8cb2. What this do is will create a tar file. Okay, this will create a tar file, which we can use to transfer without depending on image. Okay, for that what we do is provide the tar file. Let's say my tar, okay, my container tar, dot sorry, and then press enter. This will container export the center. This will create a tar file. Okay, will create a tar file. This is one of the option to create or to export containers file system to a tar file. Okay, I will show you another way how we can export export or save the file system to a specific location. Okay, specific location. This takes some time to export file system of the container, then create or archive file. Okay, after this we'll see how to save the file system to a specific location. Okay, specific. Why? Because I mean this actually has to export all the file system, right? So this takes some time to export to tar file. Okay, let me do one thing. I will pause the video here and then come back once the export is complete. Okay, pause. We are now done with exporting the file system of container HCB2. Then now our file, yeah, my container start. Okay, this is about exporting the file system of container. Okay, create tar file. Let's say now if you want to save the file system of a container to a specific location, the command for that is docker container port -o. This will specify the file location where you want to save or export the file system. Okay, -o. I'm specifying here inside our current directory only, where I'll say save to file dot or, okay, and container, that is the plus n. This will export the file system into our containers file system to file, that is saving to file. Now let's see here, save to top. Now let's say once you are done with exporting the file system of your container to tar file, if you want to import it, what is the command? So the command to import, okay, to create a new image from the exported container, command is docker import. Okay, using this command you can create a new image from an exported container. Now let's see, docker import and then specify the container backup file, that is in our case um, save to file dot tar and then specify image, new image name. Okay, my new image, then press this will create a new image from exported container. Take some time. Okay, let's wait. You can observe here once image got created using the exported container. Okay, if you see here, there is a new image created from the exported container, from the exported container. Okay, this is about Docker container export as well as Docker container import. You observe here the difference between the Docker commit as well as Docker container. In both the cases, we are actually creating a new image. Okay, if you observe, even Docker commit also will create a new image from existing running container. The similar way, Docker export also creates a new image by exporting the container file system and then importing it as a new image. So the difference is Docker export saves the entire file system of container as a tar file, okay, without history layers. Whereas Docker commit creates a new image from container, preserving its history as well as layers. Okay, that is the difference between these two commands. Okay, that's it for the part one of Docker container management. Okay, we'll proceed with the other remaining two parts of Docker container management as well, where I will be discussing about different commands which are very important for Docker container management. If you find the video is helpful, please like, subscribe, click on bell icon for notification. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.